My greatest quirk has always been my ability to sleep through anything so deeply that even being thrust into a high-stakes romantic drama filled with betrayal and heartache can't rouse me before I've had my full 8 hours. When I woke up in the middle of a sunlit courtroom, the judge's gavel slamming echoed like a distant thunder, but I blinked slowly, already feeling my eyelids grow heavy. The lawyer beside me, a sharp-dressed woman with a clipboard clutched to her chest, hissed, "This is your divorce hearing, pay attention." I nodded, but my mind drifted to the soft pillows of my old apartment. And within minutes, my quiet snores mingled with the murmur of legal arguments. Across the room, my ex-husband, Ethan, stared at me with a mix of disbelief and resentment. He'd spent months plotting to take custody of our daughter, Leela, using lies about my irresponsibility as his weapon. The courtroom was a sea of tailored suits and tense faces, but to me, it was just another backdrop for a nap. "She's laughing at us," Ethan muttered to his lawyer, his jaw tight. "She doesn't care about Leela or this case." The chat on the live stream, something Ethan had insisted on to prove my neglect, blew up. "Is this real? She's sleeping through her divorce." Ethan was right, she's a terrible mom. "Someone wake her up before she loses everything." I stirred slightly, adjusting my position on the hard wooden bench, and let out a contented sigh. Little did they know, my ability to stay calm and well-rested was my greatest strength. When the court adjourned for lunch, Ethan cornered me in the hallway, his voice sharp with anger. "How dare you? Leela deserves a parent who's present, not someone who sleeps through her life." I yawned, wiping the sleep from my eyes. "I'm present, just well rested. You, on the other hand, look like you haven't slept since you started this whole mess," he sputtered, unable to form a response, as I walked past him to the cafeteria, where I grabbed a sandwich and a cup of warm milk, essential for my afternoon nap. That night, I checked into a small motel on the outskirts of town, the only place I could afford after Ethan froze our joint accounts. The room was dingy, with a lumpy mattress and a window that stuck, but I smiled. It was quiet, and quiet meant good sleep. As I drifted off, I heard a soft knock on the door. I ignored it, burrowing deeper under the covers, but the knocking persisted. Finally, I dragged myself out of bed and opened the door to find Leela, her eyes red from crying, clutching her favorite teddy bear. "Mommy, I missed you," she whispered. My heart ached, but I pulled her into the room, tucking her into bed beside me. "Let's sleep first," I said gently. "We'll talk in the morning." She nodded, curling up against my side, and within minutes, we were both fast asleep, oblivious to Ethan's panicked texts blowing up my phone, or the private investigator he'd hired lurking outside the motel. The next morning, Leela told me everything: how Ethan had been lying to her, saying I didn't want her, how he'd forbidden her from calling me. "I snuck out," she said, her voice small. "I knew you'd never abandon me." Tears pricked my eyes, but I smiled, brushing her hair away from her face. "I'd never leave you, baby, never." The chat, which had been brutal the day before, shifted. "Wait, she's a good mom." Leela ran to her. "Ethan is the villain here. Sleepy mom has a heart of gold." When we arrived back at the courtroom, Ethan's lies began to unravel. Leela testified calmly, her small voice clear, as she told the judge about Ethan's manipulation. I sat beside her, calm and collected, thanks to my good night's sleep, while Ethan paced, sweating and stammering. "She's coaching her," he shouted, pointing at me. The judge frowned. "Mr. Hale, your daughter's testimony is consistent and heartfelt, unlike your own, which has been filled with contradictions." As the day wore on, more truths came to light: Ethan's affair, his hidden assets, his history of emotional abuse. Through it all, I stayed steady, occasionally closing my eyes for a quick catnap. When the proceedings dragged on, the chat laughed. "Sleepy Queen is dominating the courtroom. Who needs coffee when you have naps? She's out here winning a divorce while napping. Go off." On the third day, the final witness took the stand, Ethan's mistress, who'd grown tired of his lies and decided to tell the truth. She admitted that Ethan had convinced her to lie about me, that he'd promised to leave me for her, but never intended to. As she spoke, Ethan's face turned ashen. I leaned back in my chair, closed my eyes, and smiled. I'd known he was hiding something, I just needed the right moment for it to come out. And thanks to my ability to stay calm and focused and well-rested, I didn't let his drama rattle me. That night, as I tucked Leela into bed in our new apartment, a small but cozy place with soft pillows and warm blankets, she looked up at me and said, "Mommy, you're the bravest person I know." I kissed her forehead, I'm just well rested, baby, everything is easier when you sleep well. The final court decision came a week later. I got full custody of Leela, and Ethan was ordered to pay child support and alimony. He tried to appeal, but the judge dismissed his case, citing his lack of credibility and pattern of manipulation. As we walked out of the courtroom for the last time, Ethan stared at me. His eyes filled with regret. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. I nodded. "I know, now go get some sleep, you look terrible." The chat exploded with love and support. Sleepy mom wins. Leela is so lucky to have her. Betrayal can't stop a well-rested queen. I looked down at Leela, who was holding my hand tightly, and smiled. Life had thrown me a curveball, betrayal, heartache. A messy divorce, but I'd survived it all, one good night's sleep at a time, because when you're well rested, you can face anything: toxic relationships, court battles, even the man who tried to destroy your life. And in the end, love, for my daughter, for myself, prevailed. As we drove home, Leela fell asleep in the backseat, her teddy bear clutched to her chest. I turned up the radio softly, singing along to her favorite song, and felt a sense of peace wash over me. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but I had my daughter, my ability to sleep through anything, and the strength to keep going, and that was more than enough.